If ever you needed proof that life is cruel and unfair, look no further than the Lamborghini Cala. This was the baby Lambo that should have taken the fight to Ferrari, giving the Italians something to sell besides the Diablo, and most importantly, proved that the V10 powered Raging Bull was the way forward. Instead, it ended up in the automotive equivalent of purgatory, a one-off concept, collecting dust in a museum, forever staring at the Gallardo with the bitter resentment of an older brother who got written out of the family will. You see, it all started in the 1980s, when Lamborghini was trying to figure out what to do with itself. Back then, the lineup consisted of the all-conquering Countach, the rather agricultural LM002, and the Jalpa, a V8-powered entry-level sports car that was neither particularly quick nor particularly good-looking. Lamborghini needed a new baby bull, something to keep Ferrari's smaller models in check. But the Italians, being Italians, they couldn't just build a new car. No, they had to make things complicated. Enter the P140 project. This was Lamborghini's first proper attempt at a V10-powered supercar, years before the Gallardo would make it a reality. The P140's 4-liter 10-cylinder engine produced a respectable 365 horsepower, which for the late 80s was enough to outrun just about everything that wasn't strapped to a Saturn V rocket. The car was designed by Marcello Gandini, the same man who gave the world the Miura and the Countach, which meant it looked like something that had been chiseled out of Mount Olympus. It had everything: power, a lightweight chassis, and a design that could melt hearts. But then Chrysler happened. You see, in 1987, the Americans took over Lamborghini, and while they were willing to fund the Diablo, they weren't too keen on the P140. By 1993, with the Gulf War and oil crisis making supercars about as popular as a sneeze in an elevator, Chrysler abandoned ship, sold Lamborghini to a shady Indonesian company called Megatech, and left the P140 project in a coma. Now, Megatech wasn't what you call a well-run outfit. If Lamborghini had been run by passionate Italians who occasionally forgot how money worked, Megatech was run by people who had all the financial stability of a Jenga tower in an earthquake. But to their credit, they realized that Lamborghini needed more than just a Diablo, so they went digging through the archives, pulled out the P140 and decided to give it another go. This is where things got interesting. Instead of sticking with Gandini's very 1980s wedge-faced, Lamborghini called up Ital Design and handed the project over to none other than Giorgio. Now, Giorgio isn't just any car designer. He's the guy who gave us the BMW M1, the Lotus Esprit, the DeLorean, and about half of Italy's automotive history. And what he did to the P140 was nothing short of spectacular. The Cala was a revelation. Gone were the harsh angular edges of the 1980s, replaced by flowing curves and a shape that still looks futuristic today. The headlights were a modern take on the Miuras. The windshield nodded to the Countach, and the rear spoiler looked like something straight off the Diablo. And just to make sure it felt special, Giorgio threw in a toggle roof that could be neatly stored behind the seats. And then there was the interior. Lamborghini's idea of an interior in the 1980s was to take some leather, glue it onto whatever flat surface was available, and then slap on some toggle switches that may or may not have come from a Cold War jet fighter. But the Cala was different. Everything was designed with the driver in mind. The dashboard curved towards you, the buttons were actually within reach, and the seats, made by Recaro, were designed for comfort rather than torture. Underneath all of this beauty, the Cala still had the P140's aluminium monocoque and that glorious 4-liter V10, but now it had been tweaked to produce 395 horsepower. That may not sound like much today, but in the mid-1990s, that was Ferrari F355 levels of performance. And since the Cala weighed less than a modern hot hatch, it could hit 60 miles per hour in around 5 seconds, and she could keep going all the way to 181 miles per hour. Lamborghini was ready, the car was fully functional, and when it debuted at the 1995 Geneva Motor Show, the public loved it. Car magazines got their hands on it, and every single one of them said the same thing. This thing drives brilliantly, the handling was sharp, the power delivery was smooth, and most importantly, it felt like a Lamborghini. So what happened? While Megatech happened, the company ran into money troubles, delayed production, and eventually had to sell Lamborghini to Volkswagen in 1998. And VW, while infinitely more competent at running a business, took one look at the Cala and said, nah, we'll start fresh. And so the Cala was shelved. Now, that might sound like the end of the story, but in a way the Cala did live on. You see, when Lamborghini started working on the new entry-level model under VW, they turned to Ital design once again. And guess who was responsible for the early sketches of what would eventually become the Gallardo? Well, that's right, Giugiano's son, Fabrizio. The Cala's DNA can be seen in the Gallardo's proportions, its curves, and even in its mid-engine V10 layout. Today the Cala sits in the Lamborghini Museum in Santa Garta, Bolognese, a reminder of what could have been. It was the right car at the wrong time, an almost production-ready supercar that got caught up in the chaos of bad business deals and corporate reshuffles. If it had been released, it would have gone head-to-head with the Ferrari F355 and the Porsche 911 Turbo, and given how good it was, it might have even won. Instead, we got the Gallardo 8 years later, a great car, no doubt, but imagine how much better it would have been if Lamborghini had been building V10 cars since the mid-1990s. But let me know what you think. Do you think that the Gallardo or even the Huracan would have been even better if they had the experience of the Cala, or do you think that it wouldn't really have made a difference? Let me know down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please have a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you guys did enjoy this video, you'll most probably enjoy most of my other stuff. So just go through my channel, see this time and like. I'll check you guys in the next one. Cheers,